Yub nub time. Okay. Welcome back, everybody, to the Drop Culture Podcast. I'm Brock.
And I'm Dan.
Yes. This week on the Drop Culture Podcast, we are celebrating a very special birthday in movies. One of the very few movies that I think really did wonders for the industry now, but is often overlooked. And that movie we're referring to is Sam Raimi's Darkman.
Motherfucking Darkman.
Darkman was such a fucking great movie whenever it came out. I mean, that really, like, in that time period, too, me personally, that was a very big 100%, like, impressionable time in my life. RoboCop 2, stuff like that was all coming out. In Darkman, because from what I had heard, Raimi had been trying to get the rights to, like, fucking everything. Batman.
The Shadow.
Yeah,
like different stuff. And he's like, well, fuck it, I'll make my own.
And he made this really cool character. It's just such a dark, and he's not a superhero, you know, and he's kind of
vigilante.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just revenge at that point.
Well, yeah.
You know?
I mean, that's what all vigilantes started.
Yeah.
That's how the Punisher started. That's how, you know.
Yeah. And his origin story was pretty fucking brutal. You know what I mean? It was just really cool the way, and Raimi's style lent to it big time because, I mean, Raimi at that point had not done too many movies.
1990, yeah, he'd done the Evil Dead.
He did Evil Dead 1, Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, and
Army of Darkness would have been about that same time, right?
It was right before it.
Was it?
Yeah,
same
I'm pretty
year?
sure. 92,
Yeah.
and if Darkman was
1990.
Yeah, okay, so it was right afterwards.
After,
so
yeah.
his style was still developing.
Yeah, so I mean that lends itself to like the Evil Dead 1 and 2 that you saw, you know, like that. In fact, there's a little Bruce Campbell cameo in this movie.
Yeah, Bruce Campbell was originally supposed to play Darkman.
Of course he was.
You know, I mean,
because
since
Sam
he wasn't
Raimi
there.
was making a movie.
Yeah, I know. They were friends since fucking
Film school.
high school and shit. You know what I mean?
Was it? I thought it was film school.
I think it was high school, something like that,
Anyways,
junior
doesn't
high or
matter.
something like that. Yeah, because they had done. Oh my god, what was the movie that? Of course, Crime Wave. I mean, Crime Wave is such a wacky, crazy movie. And what I didn't know about that one that I learned the other day by listening to our friends over at the Not For Everyone podcast was the Coen brothers helped write that movie.
Really?
And Crime Wave is a fucking wacky, weird. It is a Looney Tunes cartoon, basically.
Yeah, it really is. Keystone Cop style.
Yeah, it just kind of it was kind of crazy. But Raimi has this style that is 100% like, it's the way he shakes things, the way the camera, even like on Evil Dead, they didn't have steady cams or anything like that, you know.
A lot of POV cams.
Correct. They were doing these really fast deals, like of course in Spider-Man 2, which is one of the best superhero movies of all time.
I'd say that's one of the best Sam Raimi movies of all time.
Yeah. Whenever Doc Ock is waking up and the deals are going after everybody while he's there, that is Sam Raimi. That is his style. His style is really fucking awesome. Shit, Sam Raimi even did a video for Iggy Pop.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Gonna have to watch that shit.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, he's done a lot of shit. The Quick and the Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one with Leonardo DiCaprio and
Gene Hackman.
Hackman.
Yeah. Sharon Stone.
Sharon Stone. That's what I was trying to think.
Lance Hendrickson.
Yeah,
fucking.
I mean, there was a ton of people in it, but I couldn't remember what.
Russell Crowe was in that movie
yeah,
too.
he
That was
the
one of the first. Yeah, that was one of the first ones that he did. He was really good in that movie too.
Yeah. Everybody was pretty good in that movie, actually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was a great movie. It was one of those kind of lost ones too. Mm-hmm. But I mean, whenever you watch Evil Dead and then Evil Dead 2, you get the immediate style of Sam Raimi with the graininess and then just the overall, like, eeriness of the way he did shit, the way that he would do his zoom ins, and
it was a frenetic camera.
Yes,
for sure.
Very, very cool. The way that he would put all the action together, and the editing is like superb in all of his movies, because the way that even like the opening to the Spider-Mans where they show the genes doing all their shit directly from fucking Darkman. You know what I mean? Everything that Spider-Man was from Darkman. I remember when Spider-Man was announced that he was going to do it, I was like, holy shit, Darkman was such a fucking awesome movie.
Yeah, so I remember this one really well. Like, this was a big deal when it came out when I was a kid. But I will say I did not watch Darkman 2, The Return of Durant,
Electric
or
Boogaloo.
Darkman 3, Die, Darkman, Die.
Well, those starred Arnold Vosloo, and if you know Arnold Vosloo, his biggest thing that I think he did was Hard Target.
Yeah.
Randall. I come back here. I cut me a steak. He was fucking great in that movie. And I watched the second Darkman, and it was like, what the fuck? Man. You know? And then you had The Return of Durant, you know?
Well, that was the second one.
That was? Yeah.
The third one was Die, Darkman, Die.
It was shit.
I didn't watch either one of them, but this movie was awesome. I really enjoyed it when I was younger, and getting to watch it for this show, I enjoyed it again, which was cool.
Always love it, and it's another one of the movies that I can watch at any time. Liam Neeson, I think at this time too. Liam Neeson had done a ton of movies up to this.
Not a ton, really. He'd done like 4 movies, I think.
He was a well-respected kind of an actor, though. He was one of those guys.
Well, he had done theater for a couple years.
Yeah.
And then the first thing, I think you talked about this the other day, actually, when we were talking about doing this episode, was, the first thing that I remember, and I didn't remember that was Liam Neeson, but watching the movie was Excalibur.
Yeah.
He played Gawain in Excalibur.
Yeah.
I loved that movie when I was a kid, and then, it was...
Excalibur was 81. Before that, he didn't really do a lot. But he was kind of put into that because his features, Liam Neeson's facial features are distinct as hell.
Next of Kin with Patrick Swayze.
Oh my God, what a fucking movie that was!
That was right before this movie,
and
right?
he was
that
the
was
hillbilly.
89, right?
Yeah, he was on the Delta Force too, which is kind of crazy. So he's a member of the Canon Film Society. There.
Yeah, woohoo!
Yeah, which
welcome in.
Yeah, welcome in. But he was also on Kroll. Which Kroll was a very shitty fucking sci-fi movie, but that one came out in 83, so he's kind of pigeonholed in that weird spot for those first couple of years, because he was also on Arthur the King, so he was these weird kind of just background characters, and in Kroll him and Robbie Coltrane were all like I
think I told you this, that like I always confuse Kroll and Dune as the same movie, and I've never seen either one of them.
Oh man, you need to watch Kroll though.
Yeah,
you really do. Actually, he was on fucking Miami Vice too. He played just one person, and then after like fucking Kroll, he really didn't do a lot of stuff except for TV until he gets to like the Deadpool. He was on that. Next of Kin, and then Next of Kin was 89, and then 1990 was Darkman.
Somewhere in there, didn't he do a movie called The Bounty? With Mel Gibson.
Did he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, he did.
Him and Anthony Hopkins was in that movie too.
Yeah. That was right after Kroll. That was 84.
Okay.
Yeah. No, so, Darkman really was kind of like the beginning of his really big career.
Yeah, for sure. Because, like, after that, then you get him in, like, Schindler's List, and then it just blows up from there.
Yeah.
You get Phantom Menace and Batman Begins. And
Nell, Rob Roy.
Yeah, Taken comes some eventually.
Yeah. He kind of...
Rob Roy was fucking badass, by the way.
Yeah,
it's a great movie.
He's always good in everything that he fucking does. He really is, except for all of the, like, how do you say... Ra's al Ghul. Plus, he's in all of those, like... You took my daughter, and I have a special skill set. Yeah. He's got a shitload of those. And one of my favorite roles...
I will find you, and I will kill you after I get some coffee.
And, on the A-Team, he was a fucking perfect Hannibal Smith, I think.
Of course.
He really was like to take over for Home Dude was really
George
cool.
Papard?
Yeah, George Papard of Breakfast at Tiffany's fame.
Yes. Absolutely.
I mean, he fucking killed it in those movies. The Grey was really awesome. Wrath of the Titans, where he was Zeus.
Grey was
that was a good movie
an
too.
intense film.
Yeah, The Grey was another one of it's the same director from the A-Team, Robert Carnahan or Joe Carnahan. Yeah, Joe Carnahan. And I mean, he's just fucking great in what he does. And, you know, he had his tragedy too, where his wife passed away, very early on, in his, right before his career really kind of, I think, like excelled because he just threw himself into work.
As you would, right?
Yeah. And he did so many things after that. And he's fucking, dude, I swear that dude's like in almost every other movie. He's in a lot of shit.
Yeah,
man.
oh, for sure.
In this movie, I really think his acting was pretty fucking intense, man. It was really good because he had to play a character that had uncontrolled rage. But at the same time, he had to be really sensitive. So he was kind of like the nerdy dude. And then whenever, after the accident, he becomes this guy that just gets unhinged in a second.
Sure.
Which is fucking crazy, you know? Then you got Frances McDormand. You know, Frances McDormand, that's another kind of a tie to the Coen brothers because she was in a lot of the Coen brothers movies.
Absolutely.
And Frances McDormand's always done a great job with everything that she's done too. She's a very good character actor. And this one, I remember, I'll always remember from Darkman. I think most of these people from, you know,
Didn't
Darkman.
she win an Academy Award for Fargo?
I think so.
I think so as well.
That movie was fucking great too.
Yeah, that one, Raising Arizona, of course, she was in that. So, two awesome movies. Man, but she was in a ton of stuff, dude. Mississippi Burning, Almost Famous.
Mm-hmm.
North Country, again, all earning her nominations for Academy Awards for Best Supporting Actress. Damn. That's pretty amazing.
She's like a Meryl Creep, huh?
I would say...
But better.
Yeah. She's not a Meryl Creep, so that's okay.
She's a very good character actor. She's funny. You know, she kind of has everything to go with it.
And she's kind of just very. She is funny, but it's the way she delivers. Her delivery, I think, is what makes her better.
Yeah,
she seems like a real person.
Correct. Yeah.
You know?
Even in this movie, it was kind of she was the heroine, which is kind of is a different role for her to be kind of vulnerable and kind of all that stuff. But she really pulls off a very, very good. You know, love interest, you know, but also kind of strong. And I don't know, everything was, her performance was just really great in this movie.
Agreed.
Now, the main bad guy, not Durant, but the other guy, Louis Stack Jr., right? Mm-hmm. Colin Friels, watching this movie, because it's been a couple of years since I watched it, and to pay attention to it, and to look at the things in between the lines, I thought he was a fucking great bad guy.
Yeah, no, I thought he was too. And I don't remember him from anything.
Not much. I don't think he really did a lot before this or even after this. He's probably been behind the screen a lot. He was on Dark City.
Yeah, which was great. Big
fan. But nothing really like too crazy, you know, nothing that you'd be like, oh, that was from that one. Nope. But he was a fucking great bad guy because he was that business suit bad guy. Mm-hmm. The business suit bad guys are like the craziest.
Well, I mean, that was archetypical, especially in 1990, you know?
Yeah, he was the fucking industrialist, you know, taking over everything, trying to, you know, steal Detroit from everything.
Right.
He was an OCP by himself. And then of course the guy that played Robert G. Durant, Larry Drake. Now Larry Drake, to me, I will always remember him from his role on LA Law. And I'm not kidding. I think the very first time that I had an emotional reaction to a performance where he kind of like almost made you cry was LA Law. Okay. Cause he played, he had like, he was a special needs kind of a guy, but the way that he played it was so, I look forward to it. And even as a kid in 89, you know, in 1990 and shit like that, I look forward to seeing him, you know, on that movie or on that TV show because he was so fucking great.
I'm sure he was good. I've never watched an episode of LA Law.
Really?
Yeah. What I do remember him from mostly was this and Dr. Giggles. which was a slasher movie, which was terrible.
Yeah.
But that's okay. It was supposed to be.
Well, he won a Primetime Emmy 2 years, 88 and 89 for L.A. Law. He kind of was on a lot of shit.
I know that was his most prominent role, was the L.A. Law.
Dr. Giggles, yeah.
Well, no, I don't think that's it. But he played that character Benny on L.A. Law, which was a major character, and people loved him. And obviously, if he won 2 Primetime Emmy Awards, that's cool.
Well, and at the time, having somebody that was mentally challenged or mentally incapacitated type of a deal, but he was 100% like a major part of that show, which he was so fucking great in it. And I don't even really remember too much of him, but I can still remember the feeling that he made me have on a couple of episodes where I was just like, God dang, why am I feeling this way watching TV? Fucking, I'm used to fucking like Diane and fucking, Ted Danson and shit like that, but I wasn't used to that fucking drama. And in the 80s, you had all those cop / fucking law dramas and shit. I don't remember anybody else on that show except for him.
Really? Wow.
100%. And I think he was a hell of an actor. He passed away at 66 in 2016, which is kind of crazy. He was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Which, it was kind of this role, him being so fucking crazy in it, cutting people's fingers off and stuff like that he, I don't know. I don't even think he really enjoyed it too much because it was so graphic, but he did such a great job at it.
I'm not going to take anything away from him by any means, but I did not realize that he was in The Karate Kid as Yahoo #1 on the beach.
Yeah.
What?
Okay.
Good to know. Good to know.
The other honorable mentions, really, I'm trying to think.
So I'm real surprised I haven't heard one from you yet. Because as soon as I saw this guy, I better pull this up because I don't know if I remember his name. But as soon as I saw this guy, I thought of you. Now, there's a character in this show, or an actor in this movie, that was also in a movie that I know is really close to your heart, and that's Swamp Thing.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about, Nicholas Worth.
Yes.
Yeah. Nicholas Worth, like, his character acting in all the movies that he did was pretty awesome. Like, I've seen Swamp Thing maybe 10 times. I haven't really seen it that much because it is a really shitty movie.
It is a shitty movie.
Yeah.
You just love the character.
Yeah, but I love the character. But he actually, in this movie, it left an impression. Everybody that acted in this movie, I have not necessarily followed their careers, but I recognize them because of this.
Sure.
This is my connective tissue movie to everything that almost everybody else has done from it. And he's such a fucking asshole in this one. You know what I mean?
For sure.
He's just the big, he's the big lumbering fucking asshole that just eats too much. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, shit, some of his names in his movie are Spunts and Tucci, Rock, drunken officer, or One Eye.
What was it in Swamp Thing? Bruno.
Yeah, he became a pig, didn't he?
He was the warthog guy. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
That's why I thought of him automatically. As soon as I saw him, I'm like, that's that motherfucker that turns into a pig from Swamp Thing.
Well, probably what I remember him from the most is Simon and Simon.
That's fair.
God, he was in The Hills Have Eyes. Damn. He was a voice in that. But, the dude is really cool. And he was just a weirdo in that movie, too.
For sure.
And then, of course, you got Ted Raimi playing Rick.
Right.
Sam Raimi's brother.
Of
which
course.
he's in so many different things. And
isn't there another brother that's in a lot of things, too? I think there's 3 of them.
Maybe.
Total.
Maybe. Yeah. Well, Ted Raimi's been in almost everything, just like Bruce Campbell. Anything that Sam does, he's in, too. Ted was in Ash vs. Evil Dead.
His other brother's in this movie, too. Ivan
Raimi?
Also, John Landis is in this movie.
Yeah, just for a bit.
Yeah, just for like a second.
Yeah, because it's the reunion for American Werewolf in London.
Right.
Because the actual nurse that's in this movie, she was the one that was the nurse over there, too.
Yep, absolutely.
Even the Arsenio Sonny Trinidad. Plus, there's actually 2 wrestlers in this movie that were pretty fucking awesome.
Who's that?
Okay. You remember Sub-Zero from a little movie called The Running Man.
Oh, of course.
There's Sub-Zero, now just plain Zero. He's in this.
Okay.
And there was somebody else. I mean, and yeah, fucking dude, his name is fucking cool as shit. Let me find it. Professor Toru Tanaka. Ooh. You know? He was on so many different movies, which is pretty fucking awesome.
Gotcha.
Even the guy that played
was he the lab assistant?
No. That was another dude. No, okay. Whenever Durant's, whenever he's impersonating Durant and he cuts a cigar, and like, he's standing behind the other dude, and he's like, "Okay, you win."
Yeah, I remember now.
Yeah, and then even the Sideshow Barker dude, that Frank Noon guy, he's been in a lot of different stuff. I didn't really Wow, shit. Neil McDonough was in this? Damn. There's a lot of people that were like side actors and everything like that. And even Bruce Campbell is listed as Final Shemp.
Didn't his brother play fake Shemp in Evil Dead or Evil Dead 2, one of them?
Probably.
I'm pretty sure that's in the credits.
Yeah, that's always something. Yeah. Ivan Raimi was a writer on the movie, too.
Yeah.
So... I mean, just overall, I mean, I like how Sam Raimi uses a lot of the same people in his movies and kind of puts some things together. And this was the odd time, too, of superhero movies where you had, like, The Punisher and you had Captain America and the fucking Blue Dog, except for The Punisher was rad. Yes. And it was just, it wasn't really clicking with people. Canon was really in development with they had made fucking the Fantastic Four. They were selling fucking Spider-Man, you know. Superhero movies were right on the cusp of taking over.
Wait a minute, they had made Fantastic Four,
didn't they? When did they make was that 93 or some
94.
Shit? Oh god damn! I thought they had already.
You're talking
about
made the Corman one?
Yeah, I thought that they had made it like fucking right at like 1990 or some
pretty
shit.
Sure it's 94.
Damn,
because I just watched it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that's right. But I mean, it's just like everything was ready to break, but this one looked better than any one of those. The Corman one looked a million times better.
Yeah, I mean, minus the thing suit, you're right.
Yeah. It looked better than the Red Skull makeup. It looked better than the fucking, I mean, just the look of the movies. And I love the film stock. There's got to be something to the way that they light, they film, everything like that in all of Sam Raimi's movies because they look so fucking, they have this mid-tone kind of, I don't know, just warmth to them.
Sure.
They look really fucking great. And they have the right amount of everything. And it just, even whenever they do the rotoscope stuff or whatnot, or whatever you call it, where they do the action shots and they're kind of showing the people on it, it just looks fucking great. And it's just one of the coolest fucking movies of 1990.
I didn't realize that Julia Roberts was almost cast in this movie.
Yeah, I saw that the other day too.
Before she was in Pretty Woman. That would have been weird.
Yeah, that would have been weird.
And you think like Gary Oldman and Bill Paxton were also considered for Liam Neeson's role?
Nah.
I mean, I think Neeson did a great job. I think he's a good, not only actor but a good action star.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Not to take anything away from Gary Oldman or Bill Paxton.
They would have never, ever, ever done as good as him, I don't think.
Not in that role, I think.
It would have been a weird role for, let's just picture Gary Oldman in this role.
Yeah.
Nope.
No.
Yeah. Picture anybody else but Liam Neeson, because Liam Neeson, he's like, what, 6'7" or some shit like that? He's a tall fucking dude.
He's a big fella.
Yeah, he's a big guy and he's imposing, you know, and even whenever he does the like carny walk, you know, where he's running, he's like, oh, this is like the Elephant Man / fucking whatever, and look at the dancing freak. Pay $5. So he just, just overall, the movie was fucking great. Whenever I remember the comic books, I remember everything that was coming out at this time.
Absolutely.
It was just really a nice, impressionable time in my life. Watched this movie a lot back in the day.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just one of those that you could always pick up and see. Now, as far as like the effects go, what I thought was really cool about the effects is they didn't like shy away. And they didn't care about the cheese of some of the effects, like his hands melting or, you know, even the way his teeth looked whenever he talked and shit like that. They did not care because it looked fucking gruesome and it looked cool, you know?
Well, and it was Tony Gardner, the same guy that did Zombieland.
Oh, shit.
He did 127 Hours.
Damn.
Where he cuts off his arm.
Yeah.
He did Smoking Aces, The Addams Family, Seed of Chucky. There's Something About Mary, Shallow Hal.
God damn.
Yeah.
So yeah. Did he do the stuff on Army of Darkness?
I don't think so.
Oh.
But he did do the helmets for Daft Punk in their Technologic video.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I mean, see, you got all this fucking talent in this shit. I mean,
Exactly. Oh, wait. His company also designed and created the Geico caveman characters.
Oh, my God.
And the current iteration of Smokey the Bear.
Legend. Legendary. So Bill Pope was the cinematographer for Baby Driver, The Matrix, Spider-Man 2, The Jungle Book. God damn. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. They're filming right now. He's going to be the cinematographer on that. Which I think that would be pretty cool because of the colors again, too.
Oh, for sure.
And even Sam Raimi's attached to In the Multiverse of Madness, Correct. Doctor Strange. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of really cool shit on that. You know, Alita Battle Angel, he was a DOP on that. So, I mean, the dude really kind of knows his shit, you know, really made those movies pretty fucking awesome, you know. He was Army of Darkness DOP too.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. So that's how they get those weird point of view shots to where they like flip and then the camera moves with them, but the background.
So my question is did he also do Hercules?
The Legendary Journeys?
Yes.
No, I don't think so.
You sure?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I could just see Sam Raimi being like, come on.
Well, shit, he was Scott Pilgrim, too. Scott Pilgrim versus the World. So, I mean, this dude, damn.
That's
if I were to hire somebody to do my stuff, it'd probably be this dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, Baby Driver was pretty fucking awesome.
Hell yeah.
Well, I mean, you want to get into the movie now?
I mean, yeah, that's why we're here.
Oh, yeah. So, of course, you kind of start off in this very, very, like, I don't know. It's the meeting of the new
It's
fucking...
a warehouse on the docks.
Yes.
Something.
And those dudes are like fucking, even that dude's badass. He's got a cellular phone.
Yeah.
He's like, tell that dude this and that. Tell this dude and tell that dude, fuck off.
Yeah.
And then he tells the fucking joke too whenever they show up, because they all show up and they're like, gotta get rid of your weapons. I like how they go through the line and there's like nunchucks and shit too.
Yeah, dude. There's lots of nunchucks in this movie, by the way. You'll see them here in just a moment again. Different nunchucks.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. It's like,
well, actually, so we see it at the beginning because the guys come out with all their weaponry and whatever, and the one guy's got the nunchuck that he's working with real terribly. Like when they're walking out. And then we have the scene where they take all the weapons that these folks that are showing up, you know, we get that, you know, the idea that there's a meeting getting ready to happen. So they show up and they take all their weapons and, of course, nunchucks because it's 1990. And why shouldn't a bunch of white people have nunchucks?
Yeah, I mean, fucking...
It's a terrible weapon anyways, but whatever.
But I love the joke. You know...
The leg joke?
Yeah, whenever he's like...
he goes, oh, you got a bad leg? And he knocks on it. He's like...
No legs.
No leg.
He's all, oh, I knew a guy that once dated a woman with no leg. And
he goes, I used to date a woman with no leg. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, yeah? How'd that work out? Had to break it off. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's pretty fucking bad. Yeah. Oh, no, I was engaged to a girl once with a wooden leg.
That's what it was.
Yeah, what happened? Had to break it off.
Eddie Blank.
Yes. That was a fucking... Then whenever...
Welcome to the Eddie Blank Comedy Corner.
Well, whenever they massacre everybody.
Okay, before we get there.
Okay.
So they're going to, you know, the group that they're coming to see, Eddie Blank, and the group that came to see him was...
Eddie Black.
What?
His name was Eddie Black.
Oh, I thought it was Eddie Blank. Whatever, doesn't matter. But Robert Durant and his droogs show up to meet him, and, you know, he's like, I don't even remember what the fuck they wanted.
He thought he was going to muscle in on his territory.
Something. And at any rate, Eddie Black has like 75 guys.
Yeah.
And like cars that are in crates.
Yeah.
For some reason. And there's like, what, 10 of these dudes, maybe at the most.
I don't even think that many.
8? I don't know.
Maybe.
Because some of them had to die.
Yeah.
Because at the end, I think there's only 4 of them left.
Well, they pull out enough nunchucks for like half of the people in Enter the Dragon.
Dude, that gun that he pulled, like...
Yeah.
Okay, so 75 guys surrounding you. I'm just going to fake legs a gun.
Yeah, and they have 6 shooters.
And they kill them all.
Every one of them except for him.
Eddie, yeah.
That's how badass they were.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
The car's busting out of the crates.
Yeah,
and
he's
like,
all, take them down. And like they even hit one of their own dudes, you know, fucking
like, what
people
is
are
this,
jumping
Road
over
Warrior,
on,
bitch?
Yeah, it's like motorcycles jumping over them and shit. And they're just like
a Mountain Dew commercial.
Yeah. A double mint Mountain Dew commercial. But then it's like, then you get to see the sadistic side of Durant because he walks up and he grabs his finger. He's like, okay, point number 1. Yeah. And he fucking
he takes his cigar cutter and cuts off his finger.
Ugh.
And he got my favorite line out of that is, you know what's...
it's a point number 3.
Point number 3. I have 7 more points.
I have 7 more points. And when he looks at him, he's like, yeah, he looks at his finger again.
You know, give him props, though, because the first 2 fingers got cut off. He was a tough motherfucker because he's just like, ugh,
ow.
Not like, you know what I mean? That third one comes off. He's like, ah. I was like, wow, that's a big change, buddy. I understand. Loss of blood, it hurts. I get it.
But then they walk out and the whole place explodes, right?
As they
of
do
course,
in a
right?
1990 action movie, yes.
So then we get to meet our titular hero. Ooh. You know, working. You get to see some cells and some deal, and he's watching, blah blah blah, right? And they're looking at something. You don't know really what it is. But it's basically Peyton Westlake, which is Darkman, Liam Neeson's character, and Nakatito or something like that, right?
Sure.
Nakatito.
I don't remember what his name was.
He actually looks like he has some kung fu moves at one point, and then he gets the shit kicked out of him.
He just does the stance twice, right in a row for no reason. I was like,
he's like, ha, ha.
He's like, maybe I'll get away with this because I'm Asian. Seriously, that's what that made me feel
exactly,
like.
Yeah. He was like,
maybe that's what they were trying to emote.
Fake it to make it.
Yeah, exactly. If they think I'm a badass, maybe they'll think twice.
Right.
But they didn't because they killed
the shit
ass.
out of him. Yeah. Ventilate him.
Yeah, so they wrapped that plastic around there.
Yeah.
And I guess we didn't lead into the
Well, no, we haven't got there yet.
Okay.
We haven't got to that part yet.
Yeah.
So basically he's trying to create fake skin.
Yes.
Of course.
To help burn victims and whatnot.
Of course. That's got to be his lifelong pursuit is to create fake skin.
Not, he couldn't have became Darkman.
I know. He would have had to find somebody in a computer, you know what I mean? So, but for some reason, it will never stay stable after 99 minutes. 99 minutes, there's something crazy, right, that happens. They get so close, and then all of a sudden, he's on the fucking, what is it? He basically... He's like, oh, shit is fucking gonna... And it's like a nose that like melts and shit like that, right? They're like, oh, what's the secret? Yeah. You know, so, back to the grind, you know? And then, of course, his girlfriend is Julie Hastings. She comes over and I guess she brings over that private memorandum.
The Belisarius memorandum. And they come late. We'll get back to that because I'm like, how the fuck is anybody supposed to know what you're talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so, I mean, they kind of allude to that, but then they have like a little fucking memory corner where they're going through slides and they're like, oh, who does that shit? For real. It was cool. Sure. See him, Liam Neeson as a hippie, you know what I mean? Right. What was that, you know? So then, I mean, she actually goes to see Louis Strack, right? So she tells him, hey, listen, I got a hold of something. Because in that morning when they wake up, you know, because he's like, why do they make these things so hard to take off, you know? So, well, obviously they're making whoopee, you know? So they...
Whoopee.
Yeah.
Like a 1970s newlywed game.
Yes, they're making whoopee. And so she's on the phone in the morning, and the tying thing is he puts her coffee on it, and it puts a little coffee ring on it. So obviously that's going to come into play later.
Right around where the names were on the memorandum.
100%. It was like very well placed, right?
Yeah, so it was a well-placed cup of coffee. Go Liam Neeson.
Yeah, so she's leaving.
It's probably because he has a huge penis.
Yeah, probably.
That's what we hear.
Yeah, him and James Woods.
Yeah, the internet tells you all about Liam Neeson's penis.
Yeah, him and James Woods. They're both well stacked.
Good to know.
So,
and the guy's name was Yakatito.
Oh, Yakatito. Yeah. So she's leaving, and they're kind of walking outside, and he's like, "Will you marry me?" And she's like, "I have to think about it."
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. He's like, we're already living together, practically.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to fake it whenever my grandma calls. His grandma still calls? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, timely, though, because he's like, she's starting to think she has Alzheimer's.
And he has a fucking cool place, man.
Yeah, it's above the Java Cafe.
Yeah, no, and it's a huge, big place for his lab and everything like that, which is really cool. So she goes to see Home Dude, and she's like, yo, so I found this deal. And he's like, huh. And what's so chilling about that dude in a way is he's like, oh, so you found it.
And this is Strack.
Yeah. They were payoffs. How do you think this shit gets made? You know, sometimes I have to do the occasional shady shit.
Yeah, and he like goes over to that model of the city. He's talking about how many thousands of jobs it's going to make. They're reclaiming the waterfront from the decay.
Yeah, she's like, I can't walk away from this, and it's got my name on it and stuff like that.
Right.
And he's like, well, what if you were to go to the bathroom and leave your briefcase open? Whatever happens in my possession is not your concern. She's like, no, I don't think so. So she leaves, right? And so, yeah, I mean, so you're like, all right, this Belisarius memorandum, you know, I don't know why they...
She says that she didn't have it with her.
Yeah, no, yeah, because he's like, oh...
That'll be important in a moment.
Yeah. So then we're back in Westlake's lab, right, that night. And all of a sudden, they're watching, and it's like 98.6 minutes, you know, and then all of a sudden the lights go, oh, I'll get the breaker. And he's like, wait a minute. Holy shit.
What time? Time?
Yeah. And he's like, Yakatito, time. And
it's like 100.
He's like, 100 minutes. We've done it. And he's like, no, Yakatito, we have not done anything. This is another piece to the puzzle. You know, he's like, shit.
I like that he became like a Tibetan monk when you were just talking. Right
Yakatito. It's just the way he says shit. Yakatito. So, and like right there, I mean, he's going to make a phone call, then all of a sudden, boom, the Droogs show up. Right. All of fucking everybody shows up. And they're all...
the hog guy from Swamp Thing.
Yeah. You got fucking...
Robert Durant.
Yeah, Ted Raimi, the Mexican dude. And then the one-legged guy. And then Smiley. You know?
The one-legged guy.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
I got this great gun in my league.
Yeah, and he's like...
I just hop around.
Yeah. He's like... And the other dude's just like rocking his fucking 1990s grunge hairdo.
Yeah, and then, well, that's not even grunge yet, but
not yet.
Rocks out that arm so that he can hold him.
Yeah, and he's staying steady. So he's beating the shit out of them.
Yeah.
All of them.
Well, Liam Neeson's getting his ass kicked.
Yeah, and then he fucking finally at one point, like, fucking, he knocks him over some shit, and then he's like, maybe your partner will, shed some light on the situation, you know. He's like, but I don't even know what you're fucking talking about, because they didn't vet their information. You know,
he's
what
like,
I mean?
He's a lab assistant. Let him breathe.
Yeah, and he's like, hey, ventilate him.
Because they have plastic over his face.
Yeah, and he fucking blows a hole in his head.
Yeah,
right. And he's like, that's where Liam Neeson really does some good acting at that point too, because he really looked pissed off. He's like, no,
yeah. He had some screams in there for sure. Yeah.
It was fucking crazy. So then they go to drown him in whatever that vat of fucking liquid shit is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, some sort of acid. But he grabs both of those electronic or electro, whatever they are.
Yeah, there's like electrodes into that shit. I guess that's the fluid that makes the skin, and it fucking burns the shit out of his hands. And then he falls to the ground, and they're like, "Oh shit, goddamn!" And then the Mexican dude's like, "Hey, boss, I got it over here, man." No, that's not what he sounds like.
Not at all.
But like, I got it, and so they're like, "Oh, okay, well." Relieve him of the burden of something, you know what I mean? And then they start drowning him again, you know?
In acid.
Yeah, and then it burning the fuck out of the one side of his face, right? Till they take him out. They kick the shit out of him so bad that he can't fucking barely move. Durant sets the lighter down. They undo all of the fucking gases and shit like that.
And he's got that bird.
Yeah.
The
water bird.
Yeah.
It's like... And then finally, that's
just
the sound
as
that makes.
Liam Neeson finally drags his ass up there and goes to grab it, you see it connect. And it explodes. And he goes flying.
You see his fucking pupil just fucking dilate. Yep. And then, of course, Frances McDermott's down on the bottom. She just got dropped off.
Well,
and she's
they're actually getting in their cars and leaving the bad guys when her taxi pulls up.
Yeah. And she's like, marriage? Will you marry me? Huh. And then it's like,
right now, bitch.
Yeah. And then he flies out of the top of the fucking building, too.
Yeah,
he's like, and he
conveniently into the river.
No shit.
Yeah.
He lands right in the fucking river. And then it's like, but what I really like about that scene too is she's just standing there in awe of the explosion.
Yeah.
And then it fades into her sitting at the fucking gravesite. And the dude's like, doesn't look like you got a lot of work today. He's like, shit, there's another left of him. They just found a piece of his ear. Made my job easy today. So it's like, why did they throw that shit in there?
And then we go to them undoing the gauze.
Well, basically, he's getting cleaned or some shit like that, right? And so apparently, they think of him as an indigent because he's in a coma,
right?
You know, and he washed up on shore. He's severely burned, but the fucking the medical jacket and shit like that doesn't give anything away.
Of course,
he could have got it from a fucking trash can.
That's true.
And so they kind of describe where they found him. Yeah, he fucking woke up on the waterfront, and often people wash up there, and that's the doctor from American Werewolf in London.
Right.
And what they had done is they severed some nerve in the back of his head somewhere, to where he would live the rest of his life screaming if they didn't do that shit. So he fucking basically has no fucking feeling in the rest of his whole body.
Yeah, it was the spinothalamic tract.
Yeah. And yeah, so basically
he doesn't have pain anymore.
Yeah.
Or tactile feeling, right? Like he can't feel stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. But it causes uncontrollable rage.
Right.
So they get a little bit out of the way, and he's not woke up, but then all of a sudden he fucking wakes up, and then you get to see that fucking his brain go crazy. He's like, look at the dancing freak. And, he fucking explodes in his head. And all that, I like how Raimi does that emotion shit where it's just like, it fucking just firing off, and he rips through everything because she also describes that he's got superhuman strength. That's why he's kind of put in this.
Because his adrenal gland is on overload.
Yeah, all the time.
Right.
So, yeah, he gets out, right? And then he finds a fucking pretty badass coat in the fucking trash, right?
As you do.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like a Phantom of the Opera coat.
Right.
You know what I mean? So badass, and it's raining like fucking, I've never seen a rainstorm before. Like bad. And he goes across the street because he finds Julie out of the whole entire city. He's like, Julie, it's me. Kind of like a fucking Merrick,
Yeah.
I'm a man, not an animal. Then he's like, because he has no feeling, so he's laying under a box, and the fucking box in the wind blows away, and he's just staring at the fucking drain. There's another cool kind of dissolve deal. So he finally goes back to his lab, right? And he finds whatever equipment, and he's freaking out, right? He's still he's got the hat, and he's got all this shit. And he gets in there, and he looks at his one computer, and he's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to wipe this one off. It'll work. No shit'll fucking work after that. Damn. So, that's specialized equipment.
And that was a huge explosion.
Yeah, it was. And it's like
it launched him out the top.
Yes. It was very special.
Let me remind you.
Yeah. Very special equipment that he has for everything. So he gets at least a shopping cart full of it and finds some like abandoned building or some shit like that, right? He gets the one picture that's half burned, right? And then he actually starts trying to reconstruct his face, which is going to take like 573 hours or some shit, right? So, okay, it's time for revenge, So then what's really crazy is he has enough money somehow to buy a fucking Canon EOS Rebel, to go take photos, right? Because he's following.
Or maybe he already had that and he just stole it from like his apartment that was exploded.
Yeah, he might have cleaned the lens off and it worked. You know what I mean?
Just brush the dirt off.
Dude. Yeah. Because he's got to make masks. Yeah. You know what I mean? So we get to see him kind of working his magic because he's got all these pictures now. He kind of sees a drop off with Polly and fucking all the other dudes, right? Smiley and whoever else, one leg. And so he's kind of watching them. He's following all these people. And that's whenever he's in the fucking behind the walls at some weird like charity function. Yeah. And Home Dude's like, I know the cure to your sadness. It's a little dance, and they fucking dance in like a ballroom dance. But yet he's in the fucking ducks somewhere like, huh. Like how the fuck, where is he? No air conditioning system is big enough for a 6'4" man, I
don't know. Didn't you see Die Hard?
Yeah. Well, Bruce Willis is like 5'4".
That's fair.
Yeah. But so he gets Rick first, right? And he's hanging him in the sewer, right? And he's
basically like tortures him to like get the names of everybody, right?
Yeah, he's like, don't let me go, because you see this big old drop down. The thing that would have killed him was whenever he pushed his head up above on that fucking manhole cover. That would have brained him right there. But it was 100%. All But I like the way that looks. It looks so fucking funny in a weird way. And they're all moving around him, and then all of a sudden he fucking dies, right? So he's the first one gone. Of course he's pissed off because they take his hands, he's like, they took my hands, because it burns a little bit, right before all that shit. And he's getting his whole lab back, and he's got his cat friend, the gray one.
Yeah. Before we go any further, I do want to say earlier when we had the initial attack on his place before it exploded, Robert Durant had one of the weirdest lines that I didn't understand right there, and I just wanted to bounce this off of you. Bring the Asians fingers.
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Well, he collects fingers.
That's fucking weird, though. I mean, like, at the beginning, like when you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I always try to look at these like I haven't seen it 20,000 times.
Well, he couldn't take Westlake's fingers because they were burned.
Oh, okay.
So he went for the Asian guy's fingers, whatever is Yakitori, Yamataki. Yakatito. Yeah, Yakatito. Mm-hmm. Time, Yakatito. Time. We've done it.
I just thought that was a great line.
Yeah, no.
Bring the Asians' fingers.
Yeah, bring me the Asians' fingers.
I'm just going to start saying that.
Bring me the Asian
Usually
fingers.
when I'm going to an Asian restaurant, that's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, but then this is where he does his first bit of deception.
Yes.
So he gets the pictures of Polly. He finds out what he's doing. He kind of gets his mannerisms and everything after he takes down Rick, but he has a plan. Yeah. So he actually drugs Polly, right? He chloroforms him, puts him in a really cheap blue fucking suit, lays him on the bed and puts 2 tickets to fucking like Rio and shit like that, right? Something fucking crazy. So he goes to make the drop that they were going to do earlier, and he's kind of like, he just doesn't stop fucking with his masks and shit the whole time. He's just like, ugh. And then he's like, oh, I don't know. He's trying to mask his voice and everything too, which he does a pretty fucking good job. It sounded like everybody. Yeah, sure. And then, they leave, and there's, where's Rick? And that's when Durant busts into that dude's place, right? Mm-hmm. And then he's like, I swear, boss, I don't know. I was just sleeping the whole time. That's like the most dialogue that dude ever had in a movie.
Right.
Ever. And I don't think he's ever had any more dialogue than that. It was like 6 lines in a row. I swear, boss, I don't know. I was here. And then he's like, well, have a nice flight. And he throws him out the fucking window, which that was a cool fucking stunt.
Yeah, absolutely.
You could tell the dude was running and then gets and jumps out.
Because it doesn't make any sense with physics otherwise, but yeah.
Correct. And whenever he lands on the cab, it's like, and the woman screams, but yet Liam Neeson Darkman is still down there. Right. And he looks over and he smiles, and the woman's like, ah, freaks the fuck out.
As you would.
Yeah, of course. They still haven't gotten downstairs, and he just takes off. So there he's got his little nest egg. He's got money. Yes. So that's how he gets there. Then he starts going through, when he gets back, doesn't he finally, what is it? He finally perfects the formula for his skin with all of his dilapidated equipment.
Right.
So they show the parts where he's, doing the hand and everything like that. And he's typing and shit like that. And it's all that weird, animated graphic type shit.
Right.
Not really computer graphics, but it was just really cool. Right.
Right.
It was a good mix of practical, digital, drawn in effects, everything like that. It was just really cool. And then he finally, the machine ends as like, we're ready, So he makes his mask, and then he goes to find Julie, right? And she so happens to be at the fucking whatever you call it, the graveyard. And he's like, no, for real, I swear to God, But he's acting really weird, His mannerisms have changed. It was very calm at the beginning.
Well, yeah, again, I mean, that's what they tell us, right?
Yeah.
It's his emotions that'll take over.
It was like he was very, and the way that Liam Neeson plays it, I mean, he's just like, oh, it's me, I swear to God, just grab me, and he's just kind of like, it's very anxious, anxiety driven, because it's so much. And then basically, he goes to see her. He hangs out, but I got to go back to the institute. They're like, wait a minute, why do you got to go back? You look fucking perfectly fine.
Right.
Obviously she doesn't put two and two together and be like, did you like make your skin formula good? How did this work? That's what he was working on. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, don't we find out that this is where she was like with Strack too?
Well, in a way, she says, because he asked her, hey, did you ever see anybody while I was gone? And she was like, I did find comfort in another man. And he was like, okay, that's fine. And that's whenever he's like, give me the fucking elephant.
Right.
Because she basically like fucking runs away. But the whole time, I mean, she goes back to the big mogul guy, and she's like, I got to break it off, blah, blah, blah. Somebody's back. And then, then he fucking, they're basically at the carnival, and he's like, I'm going to win you the biggest, pinkest elephant, and then they start talking a little bit more, and he's like, I'll take the big pink one. He's like, no can do, buddy. He's like, why? Well, your foot wasn't over the line. That guy's a fucking dick.
Yeah,
he told you hear me, buddy? I said, why don't you get lost? And he breaks his fucking fingers in that coolest way. There's like rubber fingers. He throws him through the fucking, he's like, give me the elephant. Give me the fucking elephant. No. He tells Julie, take the fucking elephant.
Yeah.
He gets pissed, and then his face like, oh.
Starts freaking out.
Yeah. And then he runs back like fucking Robert Merrick. You know what I mean? He's the Elephant Man at that point. And then, I mean, where is this carnival at? And how far does he run to go back to his abandoned building? Was it like next door?
Well, it's his abandoned building is connected to the city by a series of tubes.
Yeah, I guess. It's weird because he like shows up, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, we're there. It's like where they filmed Repo Man. You know what I mean? It's in that same, dry aqueduct area where the fucking dudes from Anchorman fought and shit. You know what I mean? It's all like right there. And she finds it. She finally goes in there, but he's too fucking embarrassed. He doesn't want to scare her. So finally, he's just like, he leaves it alone. She leaves, I guess. And then it's just like, I don't know what the fuck, what's going on. She sees all of his whole establishment where he's living and shit like that, right?
Right.
Then he actually goes for Durant. So he starts recording, and then that's when you see Durant's weird fixation with fingers. And they all have rings on them. Like he takes their ring finger and leaves the rings on them too.
Yeah. And as a watcher, like as in the film, don't we find out where this is where Strack and Durant were working together when Julie was in his office?
Yeah, because he's like sitting in Durant.
He's got the memorandum on his desk. Right?
Yeah, it's right there, and she knows that that's the same one.
Because of the coffee stain.
Yeah, and then even the dude's like, well, yeah, I had to do it. And then he's like, you can go. What? What the fuck? Right?
I'm surprised he didn't just kill her right there.
Correct, right? I mean,
would bad guy in the 90s. Geez.
End of the movie. Right. He would have got something out of him.
He would have got a call.
Yeah.
Have a particular set of skills.
Yes. So yeah, it was a very good one. So yeah, they actually, he goes in there and then he robs a bank. He's like, Robert G. Durant. That's me. And then they arrest him at his house.
Right.
So he's in fucking jail, but yet the whole time he's at this meeting with the other Yakitori dude or whatnot. Right. The Chinese gangster.
Yes.
Right. And I guess he owes him a lot of money because he's like, I want the money, you know. Right. You have exactly until I finish this cigar to give me your money. And Durant gets out of jail. He's got to sign some papers or some shit. And he fucking gets in the cab and he's like, take me to Chinatown, quick. You know, so they get there and he's like, where is he? And he's like, he's upstairs with you. Yeah. And one of his henchmen is like, who the fuck? What the fuck is happening? And then, yeah, that's whenever, you know, he gets the money, everything like that. And he's walking downstairs and then they do that little comedic, shoot him. No, shoot him. Right, no, right. Shoot him. Shoot him, idiot. You know,
let's wrestle.
Yeah. Which was a fucking awesome fight. It was just so bad.
Superman should I shoot?
He's like, I don't know. Jeez, boss, which one are you? And then all of a sudden the mask goes blah, 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 and starts fucking up. So
that is actually the sound that it makes, yes.
Yeah. So basically, it's after this is whenever Strack tells her, you know, or she finds out that he's involved with it.
Oh, okay. I thought it was at the same time.
It was kind of like right after, right there. So they kidnap her, right? And they go through Westlake's factory going after him. Right, so they're doing all the shit, and he's kicking the shit out of every one of them. He gets the Mexican dude, right, ties him up, puts a smiley face on him, right, and then fucking underneath that mask is another mask of Westlake. Yeah,
it's like Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. So who is it back behind here?
We got away with it too if it wasn't for you pesky, burnt acid face people,
burnt acid face kids. And so they're going through everything. He finally gets everybody, and then there's the helicopter there because he actually, Westlake blows up his own factory in the same way with the smiley dude. Mm-hmm. I mean, the dude's like, yeah, I made it. He could walk actually, you know, so he runs over there to it, and right as soon as he gets to it, it's like, wait a minute, this is a fucking hologram. What the fuck is this shit? And the dude's like, he can't believe it. He does it like 80 times. He's like,
I gotta move my hands past this like at least 20 more times.
Wait a minute, it's here.
Before I grasp that this is real.
So then it fucking explodes, and of course he's on the bottom of the helicopter, or he's on the skids.
Yes,
elevator up. I'm on the skids. He's up there fighting fucking Durant, right?
Right.
And why don't they just sit down somewhere so they could just kick the shit out of each other or something? No, he's like, shake him off, you know. And then of course, you know, the tow hook drops. And then, of course, he falls all the way down. And I love those point of view shots from the helicopter down to there. It looks so odd and weird, you know? It just doesn't look like they're above each other.
Right.
So, yeah, of course, when he goes into the boardroom, he's like, excuse me. And he fucking gets pulled right back out, you know? And then finally the police helicopter shows up, and fucking Durant like pulls out the 50 cal, right? And just can't fucking get it. He's like, I'm done playing. And he shoots a fucking grenade gun at him. Boom! Blows that fucking shit up while Darkman's down on the bottom, right?
Right.
And then they kind of run him through traffic and shit like that, which is pretty funny too. Because they're like, and then you get to see the Buick.
Yeah.
Yeah. you see the Buick down there. And I wonder who's in that. I should have paused it at that point.
Yeah,
to see who was in
I didn't think to do that either.
Yeah, because he runs over that, he gets hit, and then he lands on the top of...
You're speaking of the Buick from Evil Dead.
From every Sam Raimi movie ever. The Delta 88.
Yep. Just throwing it out there for listeners who didn't know.
Yeah, it's the Delta 88 that's in absolutely positively everything. Spider-Man's dad drove it. Ash drove it. He even drove it in
Spider-Man's uncle.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, his uncle drove it. Spider-Man's dad. What the fuck?
That was in the Andrew Garfield remake.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You know, there was no Delta 88 in that.
No.
And
no.
But yeah, the Delta's been in... I think it was even in Crime Wave 2. It was in everything. But yeah, then he finally gets on top of the semi truck, right? And he hooks it to it, and they're like, "Oh shit!" Right? That's when the fucking thing like runs into the overpass. Boom! Because the dude can't do nothing, right?
What can you do?
Yeah, right. So you're thinking, oh shit, Durant's gone, right? So it's now to go after the big bad. So the next thing that you see is Durant smoking a cigar, and his face is all fucked up and shit like that. And Strack looks at him, he's like, man, you look like shit. He's like, yeah.
He's still acting like Durant at this
Yeah,
time.
yeah. He's got that other mask, and it's dark,
Sure.
so he can actually keep the mask on for a while without,
Because it's photosensitive.
so you could get away with it, right?
Right.
And then basically they go to the construction site for what I have no idea because it was a trap,
That's where you set up a trap.
Yeah, and it was just one other dude, Strack and Julie. She's up there with the other goon, right? And he's giving this monologue about high steel, fucking walking across it 5 inches and 600 feet down. You're like, God damn, what the fuck, right? So then,
Nice monologue, bro.
Yeah. No. So, of course, he rips a mask off and he's like, oh, and then Julie sees him the first time and she's like, oh my God, it's disgusting. You're fucked up, right? And then, of course, they get into that big fight on all the steel. Home dude breaks out the fucking bolt gun.
As you would.
Yeah. And it's just like toying with him. He's like shooting on the left side, shooting on the right side, shooting on the left side, and then finally gets his hand right in the middle, and right on the fucking beam. And you're just like, God damn, that's got to hurt. But, of course, Darkman can't feel it.
Doesn't hurt Darkman.
Yeah. And then at that point, Julie like knocks over the dude, and she knocks him over, and he almost falls down. He gets back up, and he's just like, fuck you, bitch. And he fucking throws her over the side.
Right.
And she lands on the fucking steel rods with the handcuffs, right? So she's about to fall. Darkman hops on the hook again, fucking swoops down, grabs her, then comes back. And home dude's like, knocks
I'm fucked now.
Yeah, knocks him head over heels. But then, of course, Darkman grabs him by the foot. It's like, pow. And you're thinking, he's like, you can't do it. You can't kill me. And he fucking...
You'd never be able to live with yourself.
He's like, I'm learning to live with a lot. Damn. Fucking cold-blooded. He really does knock the you only hear the thump. You don't really get to see it, which is fucking pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think a lot in this movie, though, that's like when they shoot his lab assistant, we don't see it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You don't see a lot of the gore.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if there's like a more gory version of this.
That's a good question.
Because this makes him more of a revenge hero, in a way. And then he lets her go, because it's weird because it's in the middle of the night. They must have met at like 3:30 in the morning, right? Mm-hmm. On this high rise. Because when she's chasing him, because he's like, oh, I got to leave. It's in the morning and it's in the middle of fucking like, everybody's walking to work.
Right.
Which is weird, again. And then he puts on the Bruce Campbell mask.
Yes.
And then you get to see Bruce Campbell walk away. I'm Darkman,
I am everyone and no one.
Yeah.
Everywhere, nowhere. Call me Darkman.
Darkman. And then there you go.
Like she's trying to say, oh, it's okay. You can live a normal life.
He can't.
And he's like, yeah, no.
No, I'm a badass and I got to go be a badass, right?
His new vicious nature.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and... he's a fucking badass.
Yeah, I'll be honest, like a little bit reminds me of Rorschach.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Well, you could, if you try to pinpoint...
style of character.
Yeah, if you try to pinpoint where the character came from, you got Rorschach, hidden behind a mask. You got Batman, a little bit, you know, coming up with his own kind of shit. You got fucking a little bit of...
I would say you even have Batman a little bit on the revenge side.
Yeah.
Or Punisher, or whoever you want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't remember what Rorschach's impetus to start was.
Right. I'm trying to think of any other hero that was like kind of disfigured almost in a way.
Yeah.
Kind of hiding behind stuff and just more in the darkness.
Right.
Which, it was a nice amalgam, but it was a complete independent type of thing.
I think, like we said, Raimi is like, well, I can't get the rights to do any of these movies. Let me just make my own comic book hero.
Yeah. And
which he did a great job of.
Yeah, it was really cool. Because you could tell his love for the genre and love for comic books really shone through.
Absolutely.
Because all of the characters were really fleshed out. They were all really good. I don't really think... Because, Durant's team, if you look at it, was just very well put together. He had the right links and everything. He had certain people for certain things. It wasn't just kind of like one-sided, I guess.
Right,
Where
right.
Durant's everything.
It's not just a bunch of goons.
Correct. Yeah. You could tell that they all had a backstory. Same way with the Strack. He had his own deal. And Westlake, being the mild-mannered, kind of dude, turned into this angst-ridden, pissed-off, fucking disfigured dude, with great teeth. That's all I got to say. I mean, his teeth were fucking great after the fire. Didn't lose any of the front ones, after he flew like 600 feet in the air.
Into the river.
Yeah, into the river.
From an exploding building.
Yeah. He was good.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it was something. Nope. Nothing protected him from that shit because he was on fucking fire whenever that happened. But overall, this movie still kicks ass to this day. 30 years down the road. 30 years.
Yeah, 30 years last week.
I know. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's been 30 years because shit. I guess I was 11 whenever it came out. And it still has stuck with me throughout all of these years just to be in such a good movie. That's when comic books for me were just like kicking ass. That was all I did was read comic books. And to have a movie like this in the theaters, but then also to be able to rent all the time. I mean, it was just something that you always watched. It just, everything about it was fucking great. Every piece of it was great.
Yeah. I read a couple articles and they did kind of like Hunchback of Notre Dame was a good analogy. And then what was the other one? Phantom of the Opera.
Yep.
Was the other one I read a lot.
Yeah.
That was in quite a few articles, actually.
Yeah. Because he really was the man behind the mask. So you really, I don't know. There's just a lot of really like great things with this. And the other two movies, they shouldn't have done. They really shouldn't have.
Was Sam Raimi involved in those?
I don't think so.
I don't know that. I know Liam Neeson was not.
No. Yeah. I don't think anybody was part of it. Let me see who directed it. Because Jeff Fahey was in part 3. Fucking
yay.
Jeff Fahey. Jeff Fahey. Well
then.
It was directed by Bradford May. I don't even see the producers.
They're like, nobody's putting our name on this.
It's
Come on.
Alan Smithy. I don't know. It's just, there's a lot of great things about this, and it would have been a great one-off, and it really towered above a lot of the other action movies of the time. Mm-hmm. Oh shit! Looks like there was a fan film made back in 2012 for it too. The Shadow you could really see, and then the Shadow movie was really bad.
Yeah, it was terrible.
They did a television pilot, based off of it in '92. That could have been a precursor to Briscoe County Jr. if we would have, I guess they shot it in Ontario, Canada, too.
Yeah, L.A. and in Ontario, Canada.
Yeah.
That's what I saw as well.
I don't know. I would really like to see like a very, very, very long cut of everything to kind of put it all together because it is like the anniversary for it. But
yeah, and I want to say that at the time this came out, you got to remember this came out a year after Batman. So this is like the right time for that kind of a movie. You know what I mean? So for me, like I had the Darkman original poster on my wall as a kid.
Damn.
Like that was something we watched.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Darkman was one of the, rotation movies.
Yeah. It was always one that you would always get because it was fun. It was fun. It was stylistic. It had all of those Sam Raimi things that everybody loved about the Spider-Man trilogy, except for Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man 3 was, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, he wasn't happy about it either. So
No.
I don't think anybody was.
No.
Maybe Topher Grace because he got paid.
Yeah, because he actually got a paycheck. He didn't have to smoke weed for it.
Okay.
Yeah. That 70s show, shitty reference.
I knew where you were going. I was like, doesn't really seem like that bad of a deal. I'm sure you got some of that that money, you know, some cheddar for
Right,
playing
right.
some high kid in Wisconsin.
Yeah. But this is something that I think a lot of people could run with and actually do a really good television series or something like that about, maybe a darker television series. Not do the origin, just kind of pick up where it left off.
I think if you did this on one of the streaming,
Yeah.
that's where I would do
Yeah.
it, not regular television.
No.
It would be terrible.
No, it'd have to be 100%. It would have to be like Netflix or Hulu.
HBO Max, someone, any of those.
Yeah, it just have to be a 6, like 6 episodes, and really be about it.
Yeah.
Never really prolong it too much. Just really kind of pop it in there, and actually have some really good people in it. I mean, Neeson could be back in it, but not as Darkman.
Right.
You know, he could be something else in there. He could be the big bad for something. You know, I don't know who would play Darkman now. The Rock.
No. Fuck you. Sorry, I didn't mean
Yeah,
that. But
he plays everybody.
Yeah. No. I'm sure there's plenty of people that could actually play that pretty well.
It was just an overall fucking great movie. Great.
I'm
movie.
now interested in trying to find some copy of this unaired pilot.
Yeah, I think it's on YouTube. Maybe.
Is it?
I think so. I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yeah, I'll have to dig it up, see what I can find.
Well, you know who
share it,
else?
yeah.
You know the black. What was his name? Eddie Black.
Mm-hmm.
He was actually on another movie that we've done.
Which one's that?
Oh, Prince of Darkness.
Oh, okay.
And he was also in another movie that we've done, The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai.
Hey, this guy's winning.
Damn.
Winning.
He was also on Cop Rock.
Get the fuck out of here.
No shit. Oh my God.
The musical cop show?
Yes.
I thought you didn't watch musicals.
No, I didn't ever watch Cop Rock at all. You know, I just remember
He's
it.
lying. He's got it on Blu-ray.
You know what his name was on Starsky and Hutch?
I don't.
Fingers.
That's nice.
That's fucked up. That's fucked up.
I wonder if I bet Sam Raimi caught that too, and he's like, hey.
You know,
Fingers.
yeah, we're
Just
giving,
like we were talking about with the Randy Savage earlier.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was actually on. Were we recording when we
No.
talked about that?
But what was the connection right there?
So Randy Savage, we were talking about how he was picked up by the St. Louis Cardinals.
Correct.
Played baseball. His first wrestling match was against the Spider, who was very Spider-Man-like. Like that was his first real wrestling match. And then for him to play Bonesaw, that went up against Spider-Man and Sam Raimi's Spider-Man.
We're
I feel
giving
like those connective tissues were not missed by Sam Raimi, is what I'm saying. So Fingers,
Yeah.
there's probably
We're giving a lot of credit to Sam Raimi for knowing those little things like that. And I wonder. He might have said something like that on set. He's like, you know what, man? My name was Fingers. Like, no shit.
Perfect.
Yes, cut his fingers off.
Do I have the role for you?
The dude with one leg, his name was Skip. He passed away on June 30th, 2020.
Really?
He just passed away.
Oh, man.
Damn. That's fucked up.
Was his name Skip because he kept jumping?
Yep.
So he could skip rope real
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Skip. He was also on Spider-Man 2. Yeah, he's been on a lot of stuff. Evil Dead.
Raimi uses the same people as much as he can, and that's cool. He brings the people up with him. I get that.
Well, he was the hillbilly dude that brought the daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's who he was. That was Skip.
I remember the comic books of this. They were Marvel comics.
Yeah,
I didn't collect them, but one of my friends did. And
I think I had a
He had
couple.
all of them.
Yeah,
you know, because he was real big into Darkman.
Yeah, I think I had one or two because this is about the same time that Magnus and all the other comic books that I used to really, really love.
That was when Valiant was kind of relaunched and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. But what's really cool too is this was a Universal film. I thought it was really neat. Whenever I paid attention to the Universal logo at the very beginning.
Right, because
So
they
he
had the
was-
one that went through time.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that.
Yeah.
That logo.
Yeah, he was the
It's
Universal
Dimension
dude.
Films, right?
Yeah, I think
Universal
so.
production,
Yeah.
I believe.
And he was, I mean, in Universal being part of the Universal Monsters and everything like that's really
Oh,
cool.
it was Renaissance Pictures. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Renaissance was Sam Raimi's production
Yeah,
company.
yeah. I don't know why I said Dimension.
Dimension was
Not this one.
nope.
But this movie actually did pretty well in the theater. On a budget of $16 million, it made $48.8, which is pretty good for the time. For especially, I mean, this was Sam Raimi's first big budget like studio film.
huge.
Yeah, at $16 million was a big budget.
Yeah,
You think about that in today's terms,
yeah.
it's still not very much money.
Not really, but still, I mean, kind of quadrupled its numbers.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and I'm thinking more of like how he was able to make Evil Dead for what he made it for. You know what I mean?
$200.
$2, yeah.
Yeah.
I got all the stuff, man, in these cameras.
Oh man. Yeah, no, I remember the comic. I remember there was a video game too. The NES video game sucked. It was basically Batman just with Darkman in it, you know? I mean, all those fucking NES games are so shitty. And they're so fucking hard too. Yeah, no, I've always loved this movie and I will always love this movie. Again, it's just one of those that I will always look back on and be like, God damn, that was fucking really good.
Absolutely.
You know? But anything else?
No, I think that's it. That's all I've got.
Happy anniversary to Darkman. 30 years.
30 years.
It makes us really fucking old.
Yes.
To remember this as a kid and now be podcasting about it, which is unusual. We podcast a lot about the 80s and the 90s is because that was our impressionable time.
Sure.
Course. You know, but for real, I mean, this one was a major one. Happy anniversary, Darkman.
Yeah.
And this episode is brought to you by Feathers Beads. Go to feathersbeads.com for that personalized gift that you're just that you need to look for and actually order. And then also sponsored by Holy Smokes.
Holy smokes.
Yes. You know, just providing fine cuisine, barbecue, and whatever you want.
Across the greater Amarillo area.
And the Amarillo Metroplex. Amarillo Canyon. Everything. So, all right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Brock.
And I'm Dan. Bye. I'm Darkman.
Watch us not be recording the whole time. Scotty, oh my God, I just ate some fucking Romulan chili and this shit is fucking it's tearing up my insides. Would you teleport the shit out of my stomach? He's I kind of promise I'll get it. Where'd it go? Did they transport it out to space? It's like, whoom.
Yeah, it's like when they shoot Spock out into space.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like that.
That would have sucked if there was a booger on that fucking thing, right? It lands on the fucking planet. And the booger becomes like part of fucking Spock. He's got like booger in his DNA.
Gross.
It's like, how the fuck did this happen? Okay.
He starts going into monologues and then realizes that it's Will Shatner's booger.
Yeah.
He's like, damn you.
Con. Okay.